You chose this.
What's going on, Aurora Alliance? Welcome back to a brand new EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 related video, and in today's quick video we're going to be talking about the potential eras to be in the next Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I already know a lot of people want to see the Clone Wars in the next Star Wars Battlefront. The Clone Wars are probably the most requested era of any Star Wars era to be in a Battlefront game, and I can understand why. I do really like the Clone Wars. I think the battles of the Clone Wars, along with the heroes that could potentially be in the game from the Clone Wars, would make the game absolutely amazing. But at the same time, with the new films coming out which are following directly on from the original trilogy, I can understand why EA, from a marketing perspective, would probably want to make their next games based around the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, as those two link into each other, and involving new film content in a new game just makes for more sales. I'd say a lot of people who have went to see The Force Awakens and will go to see Episode 8 The Last Jedi will want to see content from those two films in a Battlefront game, as they would want to play and take part in the battles that they have recently seen in the cinema. The content that I think is going to be in the next Star Wars Battlefront is more than likely going to be Rogue One, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy, or at least Episode 7 The Force Awakens, with Episode 8 The Last Jedi content coming as potentially DLC. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just saying this because in the current Star Wars Battlefront there was just original trilogy content, and then when The Force Awakens came out, Jakku was introduced, so the Battle of Jakku was introduced as a free DLC to the current Star Wars Battlefront for every single player to play on and get involved with. And it built up a lot of hype for the game, and it built up a lot of hype for the movie, because gamers were playing the Battle of Jakku on a planet which featured in The Force Awakens, and people who had seen The Force Awakens then wanted to go and play Star Wars Battlefront because it had a planet and a battle in which related to the movie that they had just seen. I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 could be a great game, even if it is just going to be original trilogy content, which we have played in the current Star Wars Battlefront, Rogue One content, which we have kind of touched on a bit in the current Star Wars Battlefront with the Rogue One Scarif DLC, but there was a lot left out that could be explored in the next Battlefront from Rogue One, and then Episode 7 The Force Awakens content, where we could have Kylo Ren as a villain and Rey, Finn and Poe as heroes fighting against each other. I think it would make for a really great game, especially since those characters are going to be built on in the next Star Wars film, as well as potentially having the campaign work all the way through from the original trilogy, so we could have it start from sometime in Rogue One, where there was the battle above Scarif and even on Scarif, leading into the original trilogy all the way through A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, then into Episode 7 The Force Awakens, and then potentially Episode 8 The Last Jedi. I think a campaign to run all the way through all of those movies would be absolutely fantastic to play in, especially if we got some missions as heroes from those time periods in the next Star Wars Battlefront. I think that could make for a fantastic game. However, I am really going to miss the Clone Wars if it's not going to be in the next Star Wars Battlefront. However, I did post a video a few weeks ago about potentially a Clone Wars game coming from Respawn Entertainment, because Stig Asmussen, the game director at Respawn Entertainment, in the EA Star Wars A Look Ahead video, had the Jedi Order logo next to his name when he was talking about the game that they are currently working on, as well as the fighting style in that video that was shown for the Respawn Entertainment Star Wars game, which is yet to have any information put out on it, looked like it came from a Clone Wars era. So, Clone Wars fans, don't be disappointed. I imagine there will be a Clone Wars game at some point, but probably not in the next Star Wars Battlefront. Let me know down in the comments section below which eras you think are going to be in the next Star Wars Battlefront. Do you think there will be Clone Wars? Do you think it will be Rogue One, the original trilogy, or the sequel trilogy? Or do you think it will be completely mixed up? Make sure to smash a like on this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to join the Aurora Alliance and be kept up to date with all things Star Wars gaming. Other than that, may the Force be with you.